Hi folks, Joko here. It's a Monday morning. It's a day off for me, and I'm with my coffee. I was going to talk about someone's essay from the Philippines, I believe. And then a song to do, and then I have to go to the the satellite dish company to pay my satellite bill. You know, one thing this country is changing so fast, and I can use my phone to pay for a cab, and I can do all kinds of modern things, but I haven't figured out how to bill people monthly. So as soon as the satellite anyway, they turned off my TV. I'll just make TV then. Okay, so what do we got today? Oh, hey, look, as long as you're here, have a look at the IELTS temple. It's a few little changes. I haven't been posting much lately, like one post the whole month. But around the edges, things are changing. So, for example, did you know that there's IELTS games? And I have some model essays up there. And this is the most popular feature, the random question picker. I've added a new spot to put the slides that I use for my lectures. Task 2 is just kind of a mess right now up here. It's just like all the different types, and they're playlists. And task 1, improved that a little bit today. Got got a lecture up here, and then if you watch all 3 parts of this series, you'll know how to write a task 1. But today we're talking about task 2. What kind of question do we have? Well, let's have a look. So our topic in this task 2, I haven't done task 2 in a few days, is money on arts, government spending of money. Hey, look, all right, so what do we got? This is our question. So the first thing to do is analyze the question. So here's our question. All right, some people think that the government is wasting money on the arts, and that this money could be better spent elsewhere. To what extent do you agree with this view? In the parentheses here, I put this in. Give reasons for your answers and include any relevant examples from your own knowledge or experience, because that does appear on every task 2. All right, so you need to analyze the question and think about how many different parts are there to this question. Well, how many? Two parts. Okay. First, do you agree that the government is wasting money on the arts? And then the second part is that the money spent on arts could be better spent elsewhere. Now, in a previous to what extent do you agree or disagree video, I pointed out that there's 2 parts to the question. It is possible to agree with one part and disagree with the other. It's tough, but here it becomes difficult, because if you agree that the government is wasting money on the arts, well, then the second question becomes fairly easy. You can find some worthy things that are, well, that need the funds. That's the key. And but if you disagree with the first part, well, what are you gonna just continue to disagree with the first part in your next paragraph? Or are you going to discuss both sides? Well, this is not a discuss both sides question. It's an opinion question. It seems to me that if I was answering the first part, no, I don't. First, no, government is not wasting money on the arts. Arts are tied to happiness. Societies that have a lot of art around them tend to be more peaceful and happy. And so I agree, or I disagree. So what am I going to say about the second part? Well, I would say that I would disagree with the idea that the small amount of money that goes to the arts, 1/10 of, maybe 1/100th of a % of the national budget makes a difference. I mean, that's what I would do. And those who say the money could be spent elsewhere, no, well, you should spend more money because it's not enough and it wouldn't make a big difference overall in the other parts as well. Well, I'm not here to talk about an essay that I didn't write. I'm here to talk about Clark's. Is that his name? Oh, wait. I'm getting ahead of myself here. This is not what I'm working on yet. Back to the essay. Okay, so where were we? We were thinking that you had two parts to cover here. Let's listen to the beginning, shall we?
The government plays a major role in the continuity of arts in some places. The budget is allotted to promote or maintain an art facility or prize for recognition of artists. However, some people are against the idea and suggest spending it on a more important committee or project. This essay will discuss why, in my opinion, the government should continue to provide for the said project. To some people.
So I've started to underline parts that I actually approve of, I like. It plays a role. That's good, Lexus. Now, as the beginning of an essay goes, if you want to include a broad statement about the topic in general, and what's our topic? Art and government spending. Okay? Then, except for the major role in continuity, which later on in the essay, you never explain what you mean by continuity. And so, even though it's good Lexis, if you just throw it in there and don't... Okay, I'm so sorry. Actually, you do tell us something about continuity. In the next sentence, you mention spending money to maintain something. And that's... maintaining is continuity. So, I was just not paying attention. Okay, so, in some places. What places? Oh, yeah, I forgot to explain. This is now pink. Task response. It's about understanding the question and answering the question. What places? And then blue is C&C, yellow is lexical, G is grammar. Here it's only on the end because this is a comma splice. And not often I see that amongst posters here, but there it is. It's basically two sentences connected together with a comma. The budget is allotted, that's a good word, to promote. Okay, now here's to promote or maintain. Okay, promote or maintain, those are the verbs, and they got to be talking about something that can be promoted or maintained. An art facility. Yes, okay, good. Promote or maintain an art facility or prize. Okay, budget is allotted to promote or maintain an art facility, or, not both, or are they promoting and maintaining a prize to recognize, it's not clear, of artists. What about art? However, I just always end up in the second sentence. Some people are against the idea and suggest spending. What idea? There's not an idea. But where's the idea? Spending it. Spending what? The budget? We need to say that. It's not clear. On more important committee or project. Committee or project. How about just things? You can get to what they are later. I assume you're going to talk about committees then, and later on. And then this last bit, this essay will discuss why, in my opinion, the government should continue to provide for the said project. What project? Said project. Said means what I just mentioned. I wanted to make sure I had this guy's name right, and so I went back to the page here, to where it came from. Kevin Clark. I know a guy named Kevin Clark. He's an English teacher. I just see here, you need a band 6. I should ease up and not be so harsh because you're not trying to get super high score. Body paragraph 1. Some people Art is one of the most beautiful things discovered in the world. Art is not discovered. It could just be the most beautiful things in the world. The world or art? It could symbolize a place or even a benchmark to all who appreciate it. You're not using the word benchmark correctly. And art can symbolize something, yes. You can use symbolism, I suppose. The government is in the knowledge of. That's not a common expression. That's not what we call collocation of how important art is. So they always find space in their annual budget to maintain this. Should be it. One example, one example is the art gallery in Manila. Is it the Manila Art Gallery? If it's a proper name, all of the big words, including gallery, need to be capitalized. Current government official, one of them, one guy, spent a huge amount of money. How much? It's okay, they won't check to maintain this gallery because people visit this gallery for free. They spend the money so people can visit this gallery for free. And then another comma splice in order, or so that, or for them to know how great our, I'm not Filipino, are you? Oh, yeah. Okay, Kevin, don't use our. National artists. Okay, a national artist would sound like a national anthem or flag or something. How majestic their creations are. I like it. I like majestic. That's good. Okay, second body paragraph. Some people think that this is a waste of money, comma, instead. No, it should be period. Instead, they want the government to spend money on more vital projects of the city. What city? Don't use the. And what about countries? Why is it cities now? Road widening projects. Now, road is a noun, and widening is a gerund. It's acting like a noun. And whenever you put two nouns together, you have to be careful because they either make a compound word like fireman, or they make a hyphenated word, like road widening, or they are two separate words, but they're very commonly used together, like business card. Don't put two nouns in a row without one of those three things. Okay, this is completely off of the topic here, since the traffic in the majority of places. It's an aside, stick to the point. And by the way, what is the point of this paragraph? Okay, they want money to be spent on projects of the city. Not why. A feeding program. Just one. Just one. Feeding program. Okay, for the poor. And drainage unclogging. Good. Drainage unclogging. Okay, how about just drainage? Spend money on drainage. That would include unclogging them. Addressing these will... See, now, you said that you disagree that money should be spent elsewhere. And then you say, addressing these will give people a more pleasant living experience which they think they deserve since they are all paying their due taxes. Okay, yeah, sounds like you're agreeing with them. You are. More pleasant living experience, comma, which they think they deserve since they are all paying their due taxes. It's a rather long sentence. Kat, what are you doing? All right, to conclude... So you don't disagree with that. I don't sense to what extent you agree with what you said you said. But don't worry. To get a 6, you can be a little bit confusing. To conclude, money allotted to different projects of our community. Again, this is not the IELTS Philippines. has their fair shares. Fair share is a good word, a good collocation. See, if you had finished this paragraph with this thought, what you're saying here is that community projects, like the one you mentioned, already get enough money. That would have been good. But instead, you break it up into 2 paragraphs. I completely agree that, and a part of the annual budget, you're repeating yourself. In your conclusion, yes, you want to state your ideas again, but in a different way. Should spend a part, well, of the annual budget on, not to, since, and then it's just at the end, what vital roles to do what? To recognize a certain place or artist. How much does that cost? You just say the government supports art and artists. And they know how important it is. So that's why they always do it. That's what your support was. How do they do it? They spend money on buildings and prizes. Why? You don't answer the question of why you agree that that is a good idea. Instead, you just say it happens. And they're in the know. No? You've probably never thought about this. Well, I shouldn't say that. I don't know you, Kevin. But most IELTS takers, when they get a question, they'll, I don't know. I've never thought about this. And so you run into problems like, since you don't have any ideas, you just sort of say what happens, and there's no support for why that is a good idea. Let's pause it and look at your band score. Well, Kevin Clark, let's go. You don't have anything to worry about in terms of your lexical resource. Your vocabulary is good, and your grammar is good enough to get you the 6s, maybe even better, in those 2 categories. But what I'm worried about are, well, not worried. You should be worried about these 2. This is task response. How well do you answer the question? Okay. A 5 only partially answers the question. So we had 2 parts. Okay. Do you agree that you address that? I mean, that it's worth it. And what are some other things? And you address that barely, because that sentence there at the beginning of the conclusion, I really had to struggle to find it, but that is, addressing, even developing that. So yeah, you're there for that about 6. All parts of the task, some parts more fully covered than others. Positions. Note here, expresses a position. Here, presents a relevant position. So, a relevant position means that it's about the question of to what extent do you believe? You don't ever say, I strongly, and you don't explain why you agree. You say the government does it. So, is it a relevant position? Yeah, I think it's relevant enough. And here, main ideas are inadequately developed and unclear. Yes. But you can do that and still be a 6. So a 6. This is coherence and cohesion. 6. Uses paragraphs, but not always logically. Yeah? You use connecting devices, but there's mistakes. Uses referencing. Okay, that it's and this and then. But it's not always clear. This is U to a T. So, yeah. 6, 6, 7, 6. You can get a 6.5.